there have been quite a number of good anime released, especially recently with the boom of anime internationally, but sometimes an anime comes along that shows you what the medium truly can do and elevates the medium. Let's talk about Vinland Saga Season 2. Vinland Saga follows the story of Thorfinn Karlsefni, who's the son of Thors, a former Viking warrior who has given up on a life of violence and has decided to pursue a life of peace on his farm in Iceland. Now, due to certain circumstances, he's dragged back and is killed by Askeladd, another Viking, in front of Thorfinn, who swears his revenge. In order to execute his revenge, Thorfinn is forced to join Askeladd's troop and do their bidding in order to earn a reward, which he usually chooses to have a duel with Askeladd in order to kill him. Now, light spoilers for Season 1, but at the end of Season 1, Askeladd is executed for committing regicide when he murders King Sweyn, the king of Denmark. Now, Thorfinn loses his purpose because his entire purpose for his young life has been to murder or to get revenge on Askeladd. Season 2 does not pick up immediately with Thorfinn. Instead, we follow Einar, someone who has watched his village be raided and pillaged by Vikings, his family murdered in front of his own eyes, and sold into slavery. Now he is bought by Ketil, who is a farm owner, who introduces him to Thorfinn and gives them a plot of land that is practically a forest that if they can clear and if they can work and grow crops on, they can buy their freedom. When we meet Thorfinn, initially he has lost all purpose in life. He kind of has lost his will to live because his main goal, his main purpose in life was to get revenge in Askeladd, and that has been taken away from him. And throughout this season of Vinland Saga, Thorfinn comes to learn to appreciate life and comes to value life, as well as has to deal with the guilt that he feels for his actions when he was a part of Askeladd's troop, where he murdered a lot of people. Now, the animation for Season 2 is being handled by Mappa instead of Wit Studio, who did Season 1. So Mappa, in their Thanos-like quest to acquire all the big name anime out there, have now got Vinland Saga, Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and several others under their belt. And that's why you should take a moment to say a prayer for the animators over at Mappa, because God knows what kind of conditions they must be working under to be able to deliver this quality of animation across many different anime. And in such a short time frame, I feel. And also, it doesn't help that there's been recent controversy about Mappa forcing their employees to sign an NDA so they don't talk about the working conditions at the studio. Now, I know Japanese culture, and especially Japanese work culture, is a bit arduous, it's a bit tough, but this is something else. Picking back up with the characters, this season focuses on Thorfinn trying to earn his redemption for what he has done in the past. We see that he struggles with the guilt of what he has done. He has constant nightmares where he is basically attacked by the souls of those he has taken. And Thorfinn goes from someone who doesn't really have a will to live, someone who is okay to die at any moment, to someone who appreciates life. And this happens the moment him and Einar clear that forest and beginning cultivating their own crops. And so in cultivating life, Thorfinn gets a greater appreciation for life. And also throughout the season, he comes to realize that violence is not the only way forward and that he can pursue a path of pacifism. Now, his character also kind of clashes with Einar in the early parts of the season, because Einar is someone who has been on the opposite side of the tracks as Thorfinn. While Thorfinn dealt out violence in his past. Einar was on the receiving end of that violence, and their confrontation comes to a head when Einar tries to kill Thorfinn in his sleep, but realizing that Thorfinn is having these nightmares and probably assuming that Thorfinn is feeling this guilt, Einar does not kill him. Another character that plays a big part in season 2's story is Canute, who is the son of King Sweyn and has taken over his father's place upon his death. Now, him and Thorfinn are kind of mirror images of each other, or at least parallel to each other, because Thorfinn is someone who is raised in violence and has now, throughout the season, decided to pursue a path of pacifism, whereas Canute was raised in a very sheltered existence, very protected existence, and would have chosen peace, but as now that he is king, he has come to accept that the only way forward for him is through violence. One of the big qualms a lot of people will have with this season is that it starts off very slow. As I said, Thorfinn and Einar start out as slaves on Ketil's farm, and it works more as a slice of life, looking into their daily lives at the farm, where they are they have to clear the forest, do work on the farm. They work for Ketil's father, who's known as the Old Master, and throughout the time we meet a wide cast of characters, from Arnheid, who serves as Einar's love interest, to Olmar, Ketil's bumbling and inept son, and Hebby, or Snake, who is sort of a mercenary who's been hired to protect the farm. This slow pace allows us to get to know the characters better, and for me it is important that this slow pacing is used in order to build up and earn what happens in the next half of the season. Without this sort of time to be with the characters, to go through their lives, we truly don't understand the importance of what occurs later on in the story. Now, why I say Vinland Saga Season 2 kind of elevates the medium of anime is because I mentioned earlier that the first half of the season is kind of slow, but with its animation, we are shown a glimpse into the lives of these characters, and also into Thorfinn's inner struggle. And there is an episode in that first half of the season which I feel is like a turning point, and it is the turning point for Thorfinn's character, where Thorfinn is essentially dragged down into what one would consider to be hell, and shown, the fate that awaits him if he continues down the path of being a warrior. And it's hellish and violent, and he has a conversation with Askeladd in this hellish place, where he resolves to not use violence going forward. And the animation during this episode, during this sequence, is sublime. It really conveys just how dreary and how dark and bloody and terrifying this fate that would await Thorfinn is. That is not the only instance which utilizes the medium of animation, to showcase what certain characters are going through. There are moments that happen further along in the story, which I am not going to spoil here, that really take animation and makes you feel the necessary emotions that you need to feel. And also, while this season isn't intensely filled with Sakuga, the battle animation, the action animation is also sublime when it needs to be, all in service of the story. Also, the voice acting for this season is phenomenal, selling you on the stories that is being told, on the stories of these people, on the conflicts that are happening. Because Vinland Saga Season 2 is a story about loss, a story about guilt, a story about change, a story about transformation, a story about love, and it utilizes animation in in a way where it is able to convey the entirety of this story, or at least whatever is shown in season 2, in what I would say is a unique manner. It is hard to talk about it without going into quite spoilerish details, but safe to say, Vinland Saga season 2 truly takes the medium of anime and animation and elevates it. And I've not never seen something like this, but the only times I've seen something like this is with 2 shows, which is Sangatsu no Lion or March Comes In Like a Lion, and Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, where they utilize the animation to give you a look into these characters' lives, and a glimpse into their headspace, and a glimpse into what they're feeling. And Vinland Saga does the exact same. Anyway, just to summarize, Vinland Saga starts off slow, but that slowness is required in order to earn what happens in the second half of the season, and the animation is sublime. I didn't even talk about the score, and the score is incredible as well. Really serves the story. And yeah, if you're looking for something to watch, if you've had Vinland Saga on your list, or you're just into Vikings, please do check Vinland Saga out. I give Vinland Saga a 10 out of 10. Anyway, for those who have watched Vinland Saga, please, especially season 2, please let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, I'm trying this thing at the end where I recommend these other 2 videos that are part of my perfection series, sort of. So if you like what you see here, please check these videos out too.